Hey folks, welcome back again to another video about the Console JAMMaizer, another update. So, I have a new prototype in. And right now we're hooked up to a Super Nintendo, doing a little bit of Mega Man. But let's take a look here. I'm gonna real quick unplug the prototype. And show you what's changed. So, here is the current prototype. There's still issues. It's not perfect. A few things have changed on it. First of all, there is the the main thing I want to talk about today, which is the VGA hat. Check that out. That's a VGA input and audio input through a 3.5mm audio jack, and that just plugs right into the board there. You can see you can see where it plugs in there. Just pops right into the top of the board and adds the VGA input for cabinets that can support VGA. And this is going to be useful to people who do MAME. What I'm going to be demonstrating today is hooking up a Dreamcast for through VGA with it. But that's, you know, MAME or Dreamcast or whatever the case may be. It'll be pretty nice to have VGA input. So, also a few things that have changed here. You've got buttons for player 1 and player 2, start and select. Home and select, and then you also have a couple of new headers added on there to wire up harnesses. If you have extra buttons on the cabinet, this will support player 1 and player 2, select, home, and L1 and R2 on player 1 and 2 as well. So if you have extra buttons on your cabinet and you want to run wires straight to them from here, then you can. It's like an auxiliary kick harness for not kicks, but other extra stuff. Other than that, you know, I've made provisions for the microcontroller that's going to end up doing the button mapping, which is based on RGB's button mapping. It's actually being provided by RGB for the which is the same system used in the Haas home arcade system Super Gun that he sells. So. Over here, this is definitely not final. These are resistors that were added for a load to load down power supplies that are not stable with really light loads on them. This is kind of like tinkering around with values here. That's why there's two resistors on there. Ultimately, there will just be one load resistor, and I'm trying to pin down what value is acceptable in terms of heat production and then actually performing its job. On this one, I've actually got a heat sink on the back to help get rid of some of the heat, because it does produce quite a bit of heat. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug this in, and I will show you the VGA portion of it working. So, down here we plug into our JAMMifier. Okay, plug in our kick harness. Add our controller PCB. Okay, and we will unplug the Super Nintendo cable and plug in the Dreamcast cable. Okay, now here is the VGA cable from the Dreamcast. We'll go ahead and plug in audio and VGA. Alright, so that's all good. Let's go ahead and fire up the cabinet. Okay, and then we'll fire up the Dreamcast. Oh, and it won't work because you have to turn the sync combiner on for Dreamcast. Now that the sync combiner is turned on, You get a picture. So the reason that there is the sync combiner on there is most VGA sources are going to put out horizontal and vertical sync separately. Some VGA sources can put out composite sync, which will have horizontal and vertical sync combined together, but most will put out horizontal and vertical sync separate from one another. So the sync combiner can be switched on or off depending on what your source does. I guess like the CRT MU drivers for MAME can do the composite sync through the VGA, so you don't need, in that case, you don't even need to have a sync combiner. But if you're hooking up a computer with a normal graphics card or a VGA console like the Xbox 360 or the Dreamcast, you need the sync combiner to get a composite sync signal to the JAMMA Edge so that you can hook it up to your monitor. But yeah, so there you go. That's 480p Dreamcast. Let's see if I can let's see here. Maybe I can get the whoop, switch off of auto ISO and kind of get this stabilized enough that you can see what's going on. So and just look at how good that looks on that new Net City. Man. This is quite a challenge. I've got one hand to play Soul Calibur with and one hand to record with. But hey, you know, we'll see how this goes. Seems to be going all right for me. And a perfect ring out. Alright, so that's pretty much all I had for you here. Just wanted to show off the VGA functionality working. That VGA hat is very convenient because it will... Sorry about that. VGA hat's really convenient because you can use it with any kind of VGA source, and who knows, there may be other hats in the future too, to connect other kinds of video sources up. That's something that I'll be looking into once the product, you know, the final product for the main PCB is done. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.